All righty. Thank you. Oops, hold on. Thank you. All right, we're going to get started. Islam, everyone. All right, we always start the class by reading, chapter 25 of the Holy Quran. If you are in agreement with it, affirm after I finish reading it by saying Islam. All right. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. But the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers and sisters, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him out. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole nation, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. All right, Islam. All right. I think last week it was said that Ms. was going to complete another section of his presentation, but that has changed. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some current issues and interesting information that has been, I don't want to say discovered because it's always been there. But we're also waiting. Let's see. How many people listened to the broadcast last night? How many people know we have a broadcast? You don't know we have a broadcast? Is this your first time here? Oh, all right, all right. We have a Tuesday broadcast that begins at 9:30 p.m. every Tuesday. And then we have this broadcast, this class that is broadcast. It begins at 7:30 to 10 o'clock. And this Thursday, we have Sons of Allah, which is the third Thursday of every month, and that begins at 9 p.m. And then we have Sisters Standing on Law, which is usually the third Sunday, which we just had this past Sunday, which begins at 1 p.m. So that's our lineup so far for our programs. And there's like 3 years of archives that you can go back to and listen to at no cost. All right, so, and you can download them. They're MP3s. So you can download them to your phone, as I do, even though I give some of the lectures and I host some of the shows. I download them and I listen to them because it's reinforcement. And because we have so much misinformation in our heads, we have to be constantly filling it with the correct information to dilute the misinformation that is sitting there and will pop up and work against you at any given time. So the way that you're going to dilute that is to just, if you have any time whatsoever that you're not reading, you ought to be listening to something that's going to, stick in your brain. And I can tell you from my own experience that absolutely works. That's how I got through 6 classes in college. Reading the books onto cassettes and listening to those cassettes over and over and over again. And that is how I was able to make it through college, 6 classes, plus working full-time and raising a family. That's how I did it. So I'm telling you the same thing. Back in 2008 when I sat in these seats watching people talk, I Didn't think that I would ever be able to talk like they spoke. I didn't think I would ever be able to remember all the stuff that they were standing up there saying. The way that it got into my cranium was to listen all the time. So if you are sitting here or listening and you're thinking the same thing, that's how you're going to get the information into your head. And the more you study, and studying is never ending, the more you study, the more sure of yourself you will be, the less fear you will feel, and you will be so clear as to everybody's position, especially these corporations, because that's what this is all about. This information, it's not new. It has been here. This is what this land is all about. It is about the people being able to live free of the violations of their liberties by corporations. Every single corporation is violating the liberties of the people, because if you're not able to just maintain the basic necessities of life, then your liberties are being violated. And the way, and some people might be saying, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? Go look up the definition of liberty in your Black's Law 4th edition dictionary. It is quite extensive. It includes your right to be able to live, just basic living, a roof over your head, clothes on your back, being able to travel, being able to just be able to speak. Anything that you as a being require in order to have just the basic, we ain't even talking about elaborate, just the basic necessities of life, that is in your liberties. That's in the definition, that's embodied in the definition of liberties. So now, when we start looking at this, we see that everybody needs a place to live, right? And they compel you to exchange Federal Reserve notes, which is not money, in order to have a roof over your head. That's a violation of your liberty, because what it's saying is, and what happened to the board, anyway, what it's saying is if you don't have Federal Reserve notes, which is a promise to pay, then you cannot have a roof over your head. That's a violation of your constitutionally secured liberty. It's also, by the same token, and notice everything is predicated on Federal Reserve notes, right? Does everybody know what a Federal Reserve note is? Who doesn't know what a Federal Reserve is? Anybody got a $1 bill? Anybody got a dollar bill? Dollar bill? Thank you. How many people have examined this? How many people haven't examined it? Now, you've been programmed to believe that this is money, right? Right? But tell me, what does it say? I'm covering it up. Right there. Note. Does it say money? Doesn't say money. It doesn't say money on there anywhere, does it? This is a note, yes?
Somewhere on that dollar bill, it says exactly that it's legal tender to pay a debt.
Yes, that's correct. It does. It says on this note is legal tender for all debts and payments and private. However, that's only half of the contract. Because, see, the bottom portion of this was removed. And it says that this note here, is supposed to be redeemable in silver or gold. That used to be on the bottom, because this is simply an IOU. It is a check. How many people write checks? Have written checks in your lifetime? No, the whole premise of writing a check. Can you put it over this side? Thanks. All right. So now, I want to read something, and I'm praying I have it on me because I'm thinking maybe I don't. And I'm thinking correctly. All right. Anyways, but I have it on my phone. It's, how many people have heard of the United Nations Convention on International Bills of Exchange and International Promissory Notes? See, that's what studying does. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there just waiting for us to find it, right? This is, I just want to make, oh, wow, okay. Do we have the eraser and magic marker? All right. Oh, well, she brought one just in case it didn't get here before you. All right, am I using black or red, or which one is it that I usually use? That's black? All right. I want you guys to check this out because there's so much stuff, you know, and then I'm going to get into something else because I want to show you it. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about, I'm talking about it just so that you can understand it, all right? But know that none of this applies to you. None of this, all right? So now, in 48, I think it is, the United Nations put out a document, which the United States of America is a party to, and it says, oh, this might be too tall after all, but anyways. In Article 2 of this document, it says, this is the criteria for a promissory note. Promissory note, all right? Number one, it says, wait a minute, two of the following, let's see, two of the following places and wait a minute, let me see. Two of the following places and indicates that any two so specified are situated in different states. Okay, wait a minute. An international promissory note is a promissory note which specifies at least two of the following places and indicates that any two so specified are situated in different states. All right, so we're looking for two of the following. What are they? Place where note is made. All right, that's one. Number two, place indicated next to the signature of maker. All right. 3, name of the payee. And 4, place of payment, all right? These are the criteria that define a promissory note. Now, does everybody have a $1 note? Cool. It doesn't matter what kind of bill you got in your hand. $1, a 5, a 10, a 20. Pull it out and tell me if you can find on here the name of where the note is made. Where's the note made? There you go. The note is made in Washington, D.C. All right? So now, anybody know where the signature of the maker and the payee is? What's the name of the, what is the signature of the maker? That's the person who writes the note and the person who pays the note. That's like two, what is it? What do you have?
No, we're going to answer the question. That's the question I'm going to try to answer.
Okay, what's the answer?
Oh, well, you asked who
On the note.
on the note, right?
Yes.
The person who charges the treasury because of that.
But who is the what's the name? We're looking at the note.
That's a Washington bill, right? So
Are you looking at a note? Then you can't tell me the name on here. Let me see. Let me see what yours says. Oh, but is that the maker or the payer?
Secretary of the Treasury.
But there's two signatures on it. Did you notice that?
Yeah, Treasurer of the United States.
So the treasurer will be the person who's doing what? What does the treasurer do? Do they pay the money or do they write the check? They write the check. So then that would make them the maker, right? They're right because they're making the check. On mine it's Rios. This is from 2009, but see, Rios was the treasurer in 2009. Who's the treasurer on yours? Oh, let me see your note. Let me see your note.
I know there's different signatures.
Rios has been the treasurer for the longest. Yours is Rios too. It's an Asiatic system, by the way. Yours is Rios too. Let me show you. Oh, all right. So Cabral. Let me see. And this is
2006.
2006. Cabral. All right. So we got
From different bills, is it different?
No, it's different year. Cabral, 2006. Yeah, see, that's Cabral. Cabral is the treasurer in 2006, but in 2009, it was Rios. So we can put, based on what we have here, Cabral, which was 2006, and Rios, which was 2009. They're the maker, right? Who's the payee? In 2006, it's the signature on the other side. I have Geithner. Let me see, because you got. All right, this is 2006. Who's that? Roseland Jr., maybe? Henry Roseland Jr.? Roseland Jr.? It looks like Roseland Jr., but on here, mine is Geithner. So, Henry Roseland. It looks like Roseland Jr. And then I have Timothy. Everybody knows Timothy Geithner. I know his name because Okay, and so where's the place of payment? Well, the place of payment, right, would be anywhere, right? Right? It will be anywhere, right? Well, since this is a note, where would the place of payment be? For example, this is an IOU, right? So I'm going to write it, right? And I'm going to give it to him. But where would he take it to get paid? And where's that? Where's the Federal Reserve? Washington, D.C. Yeah, but this goes to the headquarters. So the place that's making it, where the note is made, is the same place where it's going to be paid, right? Which would be appropriate. So now, how many people understand what this is? You're looking at this, right? This is equivalent to this. Yeah. And usually there's a signature here, right? But it doesn't have to be a signature, but there's definitely a signature here, right? And it usually tells you the location, right? Somewhere around here. Does that look familiar? What is that? It's a check or a money order, which is the same thing. It's the same thing, right?
Right.
So they got us looking at a check or a money order and calling it money. And then they reiterate it, right? Because if you go to some of these machines, right, to make a payment, they'll say, are you using cash? What the heck is that? Right? Or debit, credit, and then what else? EBT, I think I see. What else? PayPal. So they have everybody thinking, now when you have these selections, where would this fall under? Cash, but this isn't cash. What is cash? Anybody know what cash is? It's not money. It's not lawful money, because lawful money is silver or gold, right? But this used to be, you could take this and exchange this for lawful money. But to be honest with you, people ain't supposed to be using this anyway, because this is not for us. This is for corporations. We are not supposed to be required to exchange anything in order to live free. I mean, we're supposed to be able to live free. We're not supposed to be required to exchange a Federal Reserve note. And then, what's wrong with this? How is this?
Are you saying that in the Constitution, they need to have a gold system to meant for the market?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This was only supposed to be used. Why was it made? And the reason it was a requirement for the modern Europeans is because they were engaging in commerce. That's the reason they're here. So as a company / corporation, they could exchange, and only really, according to the Constitution, silver or gold. The people can exchange in any species, base or none, because the only time that we are supposed to be exchanging is if he makes these pants and I don't. He makes these pants and he's going to make a pair of these pants for me. I'm supposed to compensate. We're supposed to have some sort of an exchange, right? So he'll say, well, I'm going to make you these pants. What are you going to exchange for the pants? Okay, well, I'll make flip-flops. You want a pair of flip-flops? I'll give you a pair of flip-flops. You give me a pair of jeans. We're good. It was never about exchanging money, silver, or gold amongst the people. Never. We're supposed to be, hey, look, it's so crazy because the Pope came here. He said, this is the land of the free. Ain't nothing free. Ain't nobody free. Ain't nobody. You come on the streets and you see people living on the streets, and there's empty buildings all over the place. That's unconstitutional. Do we got mics set up? All right. All right. All right. Are we going to do that? All right. Well, I need mine. Here it is. All right. Who's no? Here you go. All right, your question?
It's not really a question. It's like when you're asking about cash, it's supposed to be money box or money in hand coin. That's the term for cash.
All right.
Money in hand, coin, or money box?
Well, you know, that's something that we need to look up in the Black's Law Dictionary. Maybe somebody can do some research on that and see really what is cash. Because who knows? I mean, who knew that money was lawfully gold and silver? Islam?
Well, would it be okay to use Article 1, Section 10, where it says that all debts can only be paid with silver and gold? Like in a writ, let's say, dealing with someone who's trying to get notes from you?
Well, who would have a debt? The people can never have a debt. The only entity that can have a debt is corporations. The people can never be a debtor. Never. Not the Aboriginal indigenous people. Never. See, what you're talking about, okay, let me ask you this. Just give me a scenario where you would owe some, I'm thinking corporation, right? Some sort of finance. What will be the reason?
Like a financial aid student loan.
Okay, but first of all, they're obligated to provide you with education free. And really, we ain't even supposed to be in their institutions because they're not teaching you anything anyways. They're just teaching you how to, they're teaching all of us just how to capitalize on the pain and suffering of our own people. That's it. I don't care what area what subject you go into these institutions, whether they're elementary all the way up to university, which is not even university, because if you're in university, they're supposed to be teaching you universal principles, and everybody who goes to university knows jack about universal principles. And elementary school is supposed to be about the elements. They don't know jack about the elements. And then they stuck in this thing called college, which who knows what that is. But the brother up here has a question.
I think.
Wait. You need the mic.
I think.
You need the mic. You need the mic. Hold on.
Sorry, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sister. Peace. It's wrong. Yes, ma'am. I think that where they lost it at or tried to lose us at it was in the reality of both history and the sciences, philosophy, the actual logic of thinking and putting things in proper order according to originality, the origin of it all, which relates to our indigenous status, or the way we derive or our derivative as far as being the actual origin or indigenous, elements and sources of everything that they have come up with. Because remember, the Holy Quran of Mecca, Saudi Arabia, it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wanted to place a vice generator, a creator, a vice generator, someone who would generate more of what he was able to, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought forth. But they lost it with all of their fraudulence and lies by burying it in their libraries.
Okay, who lost it?
The Europeans lost it in their lies of history and science about who the original indigenous Aboriginal people were.
But actually that's not correct, really, because it's already a matter of record who the original people are. That's not. Well, no, actually, they didn't try to lose us. We lost that information because a lot of times we don't do the research. We become somewhat complacent, rightly so because of the mental conditioning, but we have become complacent even though our spirit says something is not quite right or something is missing. And when your spirit says that, you got to go and look, and you ain't going to find that in these institutions. a lot of times, if you're looking, I mean, how many people have been looking for something and went to school and found it, a so-called school and found it? I've never found anything in these institutions they call school. Every time I was looking for something, I had a question, I had something just turning around in my head. I never found it in these institutions. I found it through independent studying in books and manuscripts and ancient scrolls that our ancestors wrote and left here so that we would have a clue. Actually, these ancient scripts that we're looking at today, we wrote them years ago because we knew we were going to be at this place today. But we need to go back and read those things. And if we're depending on somebody to come and tell us, which many of us have been mentally conditioned to do, well, we're never going to know. Because this is about independently searching within yourself. This is like into what they call the second coming. You know, a lot of these so-called Christian people, our brothers and sisters calling themselves Christians, they're always talking about, oh, they're waiting for the second coming. But to me, this is just my opinion, the second coming is you finding yourself. And the only way you're going to find yourself is if you go within. Because according to the same ancient biblioteca, it says that the kingdom of heaven is within. So if you're looking for answers, you ain't never going to find them outside, especially when the answers are within you. That's where you got to go.
Can I make a comment on one of the things that you said when you said that all of the stuff that we're reading now is ancient and it has already been done and it's already been scripted? That's what it meant when Prophet Noah, as an example, Islam said we place our trust in the deeds of our foremothers and forefathers. Well, deeds means actions and that which has already been done, where a lot of people will run around trying to get a trust, you know, thinking that it's a deed that is written from that you file in the county or file in the state. That is not what that means at all. And the other thing, when you said they're doing commerce, that's another thing our people do. They keep spending their time and energy in commerce when they're not even clear yet about their own Aboriginal indigenous status, national status, and then they want to go dive into commerce. But guess what? Commerce is the reason why the modern Europeans are here. Is not for you, Islam.
That is Islam.
That is Islam. No, he has a question right here.
Yes, Islam, brother, and yes, Islam, sister. Yes, what I wanted to say pertaining to deeds is the work that would be classified somewhere in what they call the book of so-called Revelation, you know, as the work and deeds of what our foremothers and forefathers left here building up towards us. But now, if it's based upon these, are there not good or bad deeds? Now, if they left bad deeds, the bad deeds should not be left for us. The bad deeds are no good for us, which is what we're talking about tonight. We're trying to uncover or discover how they got to have us buried or try to bury us. See, we would have never found a way if something like this sister said within us did not tell us something was not right, you know, to look further and find out the truth. You know,
but in reality,
I mean, if the nature, I'm sorry, sister. If nature was not in place in order, quite naturally something would direct us that, you know, something is wrong, you know. I mean, it's quite obvious because we look like the trees. We look like nature. They don't look like nature, you know, but they try to bury us in the things other than nature. The bad deeds that they did, you know, and said that was the deeds that gave them ownership of what they have, and they put this to us as a trust deed on property, saying that that's their work and their deeds that makes them own, that causes them to own things. but they could have done that all in error.
All right. I'm sorry, brother. I'm gonna have to cut you off because we're giving the class, but we appreciate your position. The truth of the matter is that whatever they did doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. We have to stop going on what they did because the truth of the whole matter is to have to come down here as spirit man and live in these tombs, which is the body, is because of something we did that's prior to all the consequence of sin. So when we look at the fact that this is all because of what we did, and we try to tell our people to go to the scriptures, to go read the book of John, which we put on the site, which is not the same book of John that you have necessarily in the bibliothelic text. It's written a little separate because it tells you right there that the woman did something that she shouldn't have done. She mixed and made it with energy in a way she shouldn't have done. That's what it tells you, but a lot of times people have a problem with that. But that is what it is. That's nature. And so we don't care what they have done. We need to, like, the time is over, the door is closed to talk about what they've done. It's about what we're going to do, not about what they've done. Any trust they put means nothing because your birth, you are the trustee and the beneficiary of the earth and the resources of the earth by express trust, which is not written, but expressed through your mouth, which is why everyone must confess out of their own tongue. That is what the true express trust is, for real, for real. Now, because they want to transfer it to some written paperwork under the jurisdiction of some county, state, or whatever, we need to know better than that. That's really what matters at this point, and you're right, something's wrong, but then it's all reversal, as Abdullah told us. He used the 180, which is the reflection. Really, 180 means reflection. We need to start looking at ourselves for real. So it's the polarity, because life is the polarity. You can't have anything good for all those sitting here and for all those listening and say, I possess it and I own it, it's mine, without knowing the other side of it. If you don't know the other side, which is what our reverse and reflection is, and polarity, which is what they say with bitter and the sweet, good with the bad, and all that. If you don't know what it is, you do not possess it yet. Islam.
All right. So we took a look at the commerce. All right. And we looked at what is money. Now, we have to, I'm going to challenge you, when you go home, or if you're able to now, look up in the Black Pearl 4th edition the definition of liberty. Now, I want to ask, because we got to understand why things happen. You got to be able to explain it, all right? We just explained this Federal Reserve note, right? And even though the United Nations put out this international United Nations Convention on International Promissory Notes, does that bypass the lawful money of this land? Is it talking about the people?
No.
So when they start saying, oh, you got to give me Federal Reserve notes for X, Y, Z, is that constitutionally lawful? Why not? Well, the only time gold and silver needs to be exchanged is if you're dealing with a corporation. So are you a corporation? So that's not even on the table. Why would this be constitutionally unlawful? Yeah.
Because it is not original. It is not originally created or produced from the minds of the vice generator.
All right, we got to be able to come with lawful, verifiable documentation, because if you say that with nothing to support what you just said, that's called slander. What?
Lawful money is only from the Constitution is based on weights of measure.
That is true, but that only applies to corporations. It doesn't apply to the people. So how would we exchange as a people? Well, yes, we would, but she said bartering. Bartering would be like between you and I, but you got these, for example, up here they call it, the electric company is Con Edison, right? All right, Con Edison is what? All right, and Con Edison is saying, well, we're going to provide you with a service, right? In exchange for us to providing you with a service, you have to give us some sort of payment, and the payment that they're only accepting is what? Now, what is constitutionally unlawful about that? Now, well, first of all, let me just say this. How many people think that that's a reasonable exchange? Come on, tell me, honestly, before you got into this information, how many of you would have thought that was a reasonable exchange? Now that you know different, you need to be able to explain why that is not a reasonable exchange and why it is 100% unconstitutional. And you must, whatever you say, must be based on verifiable documentation.
It doesn't apply to the people. The whole agreement doesn't apply to natural people in proper persona.
What agreement? What agreement?
Well, it's not an agreement unless you agree to it, of course, but the promissory note.
No. Don't say that. Don't say that. Because, see, a lot of people throw that on the table. Well, if you agree to it, then, you're sucked into the contract. No, you're not.
Well, you can reserve your right, yes.
No, you said it's
not an agreement unless
I know. Unless you agree.
Right.
But it's still not an agreement.
All right.
Because for one thing, I just wanted to, okay, let me hear some more answers. Yeah. Oh, you come over here?
Put the mic too close to your mouth.
It's because of illegal consideration. There's no equal consideration, so it's illegal.
Can you prove that?
Can I prove it?
Yeah. You have verifiable documentation to prove that.
Yeah.
Let's hear.
Hello, people.
No. Keep it over here.
Well, I'm going on a limb here, but we as a people in the nation hasn't given them the authorization to even use this instrument. And speaking
that is correct.
To the promissory note, so it hasn't been granted the proper authority to be even issued.
That is correct, and that's a good comment or answer, because I myself have been all through the statutes, and I have yet to find where, even though that Federal Reserve note says that this can be exchanged for all debts and private and public, there's got to be something in the statutes, even though statutes is now law. Statutes only apply to corporations, but there's got to be something in there that says, okay, going forward, we're going to be using Federal Reserve notes as a means of discharging debt. I haven't found it. You know why? And you're never going to find it. You know why? No. Because what did we just say this is? It's a check. And the basis of a check is based on what? It's an IOU, right? So now here's the thing. How are you going to say to me, this is why it's absolutely constitutionally unlawful, all right? Who makes those Federal Reserve notes? Who? What's the name of the corporation? Federal Reserve. So now they're saying, in order for you to have the basic necessities of life, food, roof over your head, food in your mouth, clothes on your back, you got to figure out a way to get Federal Reserve notes from a private corporation, right, that is issuing IOUs in place of local money.
Wow.
Right? They're giving you a check that has already been signed. It's made out to and signed, right? It's an IOU. It is a check. It is not lawful money.
But wait a minute, hold on. You know what? Where you just
Explain that? Where you just explained that? It's like, wow, we could have had a VA. You just said it. You said, first of all, the money is and now they want you to go and figure out how to go get a debt note, steal a debt note, whatever the hell you got to do. There's not your debt in order for you to have the necessities of life. Wow.
Basic. Now, remember we said that your liberties are constitutionally secured. Your liberties consist of your basic necessities for life. That would be your roof over your head, food in your mouth, clothes on your back, your ability to travel to and fro. This is your constitutionally secured liberty. And they just said it's up for sale, and because you people are so asleep, we're not even selling it for real money. You're not even awake, so we're not even going to use real money. And guess what? Because you're so absolutely asleep, we're going to make this monopoly money and charge you interest on it regardless of what the denomination is.
wow. No, where they sure what
Well, and this is why you got to read the congressional records. I think we have a booklet on it, because in there you got to read the conversation that McFadden has on the Congress floor. He flat out, how many people know that McFadden, I know, brought charges against the Federal Reserve Corporation? All right? Now, today, the Federal Reserve Corporation is still in operation. How can that be when you had charges brought against that actually stopped right on the Congress floor, and then they went on this all-out campaign to discredit and eventually murder McFadden? But how can this happen? Because the people are so asleep. I'm not just talking about the Moors. I'm talking about some other citizens, too. Because up north, they cut a whole mess of so-called benefits, all right? Now, much of these benefits that they cut is for people with disabilities. And you got the mothers and the fathers going up to the politicians talking about, can you give us some stuff back? Can you please give to us? Like they're poor. This is the land of the free. Why you gotta go beg politicians to give you what is yours based on the Constitution? The Constitution secures the people's ability to just maintain the basic necessities of life, right? Oh.
And then the first one.
Oh, that's so colored, I'm sure. Okay. Money, yes. Okay, here's the definition. What's this from? Black's Law, 4th edition. Definition of cash, money, or its equivalent, usually ready money. Money in hand, either in current coin or other legal tender or in bank bills or checks paid and received as money. Banknotes or sight drafts, bank deposit certificates, commercial papers, commercial credit. Oh, wait a minute, that's the, okay, wait a minute. Whatever can be used as money without being converted into another form, that which circulates as money, including bank bills. The term may include currency, municipal orders, warrants, or scripts. Oh, my goodness. Did you just hear what cash is? A municipal warrant is cash. Municipal orders, warrants, or scripts. It is frequently used as an antonym, I'm going to have to look that up, of credit. But is that lawful money? And basically that's what it's saying, right? Still not lawful money, all right? Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. Islam, question? Where's the mic for over here? Oh, all right, go ahead. Good.
Hello?
It's on now.
My bad. If I wanted to start an organization or corporation, is there a right or a wrong way to do it? Is there a right or a wrong way? Because I know you have to register with the Department of State and all that. Yeah.
You just said that, you know, and you
I
have
wanted to.
Idea of wanting to start
Organization.
an organization to do what?
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Right.
Okay, an organization.
Fathers fighting for their rights.
Oh, honey, you ain't got to start an organization for that. That's already been started. It's called the American Constitution.
Right.
And it's not an organization. It's the supreme law of the land.
Okay.
But what you can do is you can start people coming together so that you guys can study the law and get a better grasp of it, all right, and understand how, because a lot of people don't know that on this land, the only law that there is the American Constitution. That's it. There's nothing else.
So why do they make you register the name of the organization that you want?
Because, okay, well, who's making you do that?
Like Department of State. They're saying in order for me to be acknowledged as this corporation or this organization.
What Department of State said that?
The Department of State that I had to fill out the application.
Are you talking about the United States Department of State? I would have to see that.
Because they have like Department of Corporation, Department of State. You make the reservation for the name that you want to represent your organization, your corporation. It's a $10 filing fee for the reservation. And then you have to do, because it's going to be for non-profit. It's non-profit.
No. See, that is all policies and procedures under the United States of America. That ain't got nothing to do with the people, and that's people who are trying to operate in a corporate capacity. That usually when people establish corporations, if you look at the history, they did it in order to hide. So, because they'll, like, for example, around here, like, for example, Con Edison. How many people have a Con Edison bill of some sort? All right? And when you make the payment, who are you making it to? But Con Edison is a fiction. How did Con Edison go to the bank and cash that?
Right.
Really, people are supposed to be making the check payable to the CFO. Exactly. And even if it goes to a post office box, the check ought to be written to the CFO. Because if you're writing the check to the corporation, everybody that's operating behind the scenes is unknown and invisible. And here's how you know that that's some fraud, okay? Because I think last year, some abortion issue came up, and the I don't know if they were for or against abortion. It's not even relevant. But whatever the corporation name, they tried to come in. They were being sued, and they tried to plead the fifth as a corporation. And the judge, rightly so, said that the Fifth Amendment does not apply to corporations. They are not human beings. All right? So that means that instead of, I can already see that whatever the case was, that's going to get thrown out, because you know the trick that they pull is they try to get you to sue the corporation. But you can't sue a corporation because they can't speak. All right? So who is it that is attacking you? And in the world of corporate activity, the CEO is liable for everything that the company does. But nobody ever sues the CEO. Everybody seems to sue the corporation, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to lose, because first of all, another aspect of law is, okay, if the corporation is a fiction, who's coming to speak on behalf of the corporation? Right. Who? Right. All right, and does that person have standing? No. Why doesn't they have the standing? First of all, he's not listed as a CEO, which means being a CEO, you're in that position to take the hit for everything anybody in that corporation does. That's why if you send a letter to the CEO, he will get pissy mad and heads will roll, because you just put his ass out in the public and he's on the line now.
When you're talking about the CEO, are we talking about the governor of New York State?
No. Well, the governor is the CEO of the state, but the state is not the one that is attacking the people. It's the municipal corporations, your county, city, township, boroughs. Let me ask, anybody in here ever been attacked by a state employee on the street? State? The state employee? No, I'm talking about a state employee. Because the police is different. The state cannot have police power for the same reason that the feds cannot have police power. Because police, by its very definition, is actually it's military for the corporation. All right? That's a constitutional violation. Can the state or the feds have police that's going to fight the people? That's absolutely constitutional. That's why you have never seen a state or a federal police. Even though you have these county, city, towns, all of these corporations, these people that's alleging to be working for the state, but they're not in what they are to a certain degree, but not as a police. They are police of their own corporations. For example, if you go down to the train tracks, you will see Amtrak police. Is that police of the state? No, it's Amtrak. It's police for Amtrak. And then when these police cars are zooming down the street, do they say State of New York Police? No. Even if you're on the highway, do they say State of New York? No. And state trooper, not. Has anybody looked up the definition for trooper? Do you know trooper? All right. I didn't make the connection until my younger brother. He was in the military, and he says, oh, you know, and he was having a conversation. He says, oh, we're part of troop so and so, and I was like, troop and trooper. Oh my goodness, that means that that's military on the highway. Who do they work for? They say state trooper, but if you write the state asking them who is the head of the state troopers, they will tell you, we don't have any jurisdiction, because I did that. They said there is no state trooper and no marshal. All these people trying to be marshals. Okay, there is no state trooper or marshal constitutionally sanctioned nowhere. So, who does the state trooper work for? How many people have gotten a ticket from a state trooper? Where did they say you have to go and pay the ticket? There you go, right there. The county. Oh, I'm sorry, get in the mic. Please, can you say that again?
I had to go to the county that I got the ticket in.
Had to go to the county. Yeah, but that's capital.
Right, but that's the state.
But that's the state. But he got a ticket from somebody alleging to be a state trooper. But where did he have to go and pay the ticket was not the state. It was the county. So what they have done is if this is the highway and the highway goes through 3 or 4 counties, you have county police disguised as state trooper manning this section for one county, then this section for another county, then this section for another county.
So they say thank you to Section County. You're out. So then they actually.
Yes, they are. And that because you ain't got no mic. Oh, my gosh. I had to go Ebonics. I had to go Ebonics on that one.
All right. I say then, from your explanation, which is always accurate, they are the true highwaymen, because the definition of highwaymen is those who go upon the roads robbing and accosting travelers.
Yes.
That's what highwaymen are. So therefore, you have to call them what they are, highwaymen, not state troopers.
That's right. Now. Oh, all right.
It's on, sister. Okay. It's funny that you talk about state troopers, so-called state troopers and marshals and all that stuff like that. Connecticut did away with sheriffs about 15 years ago.
1978,
No.
I think it is.
Later than that. No, they did.
No, they did.
Yeah. My cousin was the sheriff.
They abolished
the sheriff in the 90s.
And that is it's a constitutional violation because the sheriffs are hired to protect the people. So now the people have no protection and they're being attacked by everybody.
Hold on. If Connecticut or whoever got rid of the sheriffs, as you're saying, right, brother? The only reason that happened is because the people were asleep.
That's right.
Because the sheriffs are for the people. They're like, well, like you're saying, they're so asleep, they're so stupid, we'll just monitor them with our corporate titles and things like that.
So now they only have judicial marshals who only basically are security for the courthouse. That is it.
They're actually independent marshals because if you write to the state to complain about them, the state will write you back and say, they're not a part of us. They're not under our jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, if you look at the paper, it says independent contractor.
Who were they to do that? And then the guy said, you're too bad.
Mike, I can hear you, but it's low.
All right, if that's the case, then the Moors, the Muftis, the brothers, they like you said, right? Why don't they put on their uniform or attire proper? Because you're the true sheriff.
That's right.
The reason they got rid of the sheriff is because you were quiet, and they're not that. They could never be sheriffs. They are not that.
That's right. It's the same reason. The same reason they got rid of the sheriff. It's the same reason they got rid of consular court, because the Moors was going elsewhere.
You could say that again. And then they say, well, where's your cut? Well, can we have cut? Read Article 3, overstand and understand what it is, and recognize that consular court is already accounted for, but because they're not coming into any proper court venue because they're the thieves, they're not walking in, so nobody kept the doors open because the Moors were already mentally enslaved and going somewhere else and answering to other things.
That's right. That's right.
When exactly did we lose our minds? It's a mental slavery, Mom.
Okay, that's it.
It was gradual.
It was gradual, but
over time.
But can we insert this on this? It was gradual. It was. But the truth of the matter is, what comes from the home and what is taught from home to come out into society is the answer to the problem, and that's why in the households, mothers, whether you got a father there or not, is where this information comes because they're not teaching it in the schools. That's why coming to the truth about your nationality and your birthright has to have involvement with women. It's crazy that they think that it doesn't. It's wrong.
Yes, yes. Now, I want to read the definition. I think I did this before, but I'm going to do it again. Did I read the definition of driver the last time? No, I didn't. It wasn't here. It was on the Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Okay. How many people looked up in your Black Law 4th edition dictionary the definition of driver? I didn't until a couple of weeks ago, and I was just so amazed. I put it in a writ that I sent forth. The definition of driver, listen, one employed. Did you hear what I just said? That's the first word. One employed in conducting or operating a coach, carriage, wagon, or other vehicle with horses, mules, or other animals, or a bicycle, tricycle, or a motor car, so not a street railroad car. A person actually doing driving, whether employed by owner to drive or drive his own vehicle. That means that it's, I employ you. How many people buy pizza and they have you use your own car to deliver the pizza? Well, that's driver. But if I was to just use the same automobile to travel around the land, that's not driver. All right? So let me read you the definition of traveler. Where did it go? Okay, driver was on page 585 of the Black's Law 4th edition dictionary. And, okay, my phone is acting up. Go to all right. It's acting up. 17. Oh, now I got to go to page 17, something another. While I'm getting there, question?
Yes. I think the constitutional amendment of the U.S., the United States, in other words, that pertains to the people specifically, the original indigenous people that were here are here. We are those same people. We are today what our forefathers and foremothers were yesterday, according to Moorish doctrine, Moorish.
I found it.
Moorish knowledge, Moorish information. Okay. That's amendments numbers 9, 10, and 11. Verses was for the European, which is the 13th, 14th, and 15th, because they came over here conquering the land, and they were supposed to come underneath our authority in doing so, and therefore not interfere with us, according to the 9th, 10th, and 11th Amendment of their U.S. constitutional laws.
Okay, that's our Constitution. We wrote that. No, that was adopted, and it was adopted from the Law of the Great Peace written by the Iroquois Confederation. That's our document. All right, and they are under our authority, and that's everywhere. And everybody knows that except the Aboriginal Indigenous people here. That's what the problem is. The people, look, the whole world is waiting for us to wake up. The whole world. But as long as we are asleep, these modern Europeans will continue to do things here and around the world. But let me give you the definition of traveler because I finally found it. This is on page, wait a minute. Now my page, that's why it wouldn't find it. 1671, I think it is, of the Black's Law 4th edition dictionary. Traveler, one who passes from place to place, whether for pleasure, instruction, business, or health. That's the definition of traveler. So you can see that the definition of driver and traveler is absolutely different, right? Now, I found this case law, and I'm not sure if I read it here. I might have read it on the air. It is United States versus Herrera. Before I began reading this case law, which was a clue, I just want to say I am not advocating any substance use. I'm just reading the point that was made in this case law. A Kansas state trooper pulled over defendant's pickup truck to conduct a random commercial vehicle safety inspection. How many people have had random commercial vehicle safety inspection? What did they say they was pulling you over for? And what was, like, sometimes they'll say, your tail light is out or something like that, right? Right, but listen up. Pursuant to a state regulatory statute, there we go, statute, they're talking about corporations. Defendant's pickup, however, was not a commercial vehicle subject to such random inspections, about which the trooper was mistaken. The defendant was unable to produce proof of insurance, and the trooper arrested him. The trooper then conducted an inventory search and discovered 23 kilograms of cocaine. The defendant was charged federally with possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. He filed a motion to suppress that was denied. He was convicted and appealed. Held. Conviction reversed and case dismissed. Ruled. The traffic stop was not based on probable cause or reasonable suspicion and was not a valid administrative stop. Did you hear that word? Administrative. Everybody talking about administrative law. Does administrative law apply to people in their private capacity? Hell no. Right. It was not a valid administrative stop because defendant's pickup was not a commercial vehicle subject to random safety inspection. Hence, the warrantless stop was unconstitutional. Did you hear that word, unconstitutional, for all those people who think the Constitution is suspended? Moreover, the trooper's mistaken belief concerning the statutory regulatory scheme did not save the stop, search, and seizure because the trooper had no lawful authority to make the random inspection, and there was no reasonable suspicion or probable cause. Thus, the good faith exception did not apply. What did I just tell you? Why?
The trooper violated the traveler's right.
Right. Why?
They also say checkpoint, they don't say stop. So you being stopped.
Wait, he needs the mic.
They also play with words because they say checkpoint, but you're being stopped. And they say, well, we didn't stop you, we just checked you and let you roll.
But whether they're doing a check or a stop.
Well, I'm just saying they play the game.
But look, I hear what you're saying. That's why I wanted to do this. I wanted to talk about this because this case law just told you, whether they're doing a check or a stop, they can only do it to commercial vehicles. That's it. Because they are enforcing in here, where does it say? Safety inspection. So I said a safety. Huh?
That's for commercial.
For commercial, that's it.
You do that on the road.
So when they say, exactly, but see, when they say, oh, we're stopping you because your tail light is out, that's a safety inspection. Most people, they will then go on and try to give you a ticket because your tail light is out, and everybody's like, well, it's my shit. What do you mean you're giving me a ticket? It's my automobile. Many of us never knew that this safety inspection that they're doing doesn't even apply to us. All right, they were operating way outside of their jurisdiction. All right, but we didn't know this. So when I read this case law, I went on a hunt. I first did the state of Connecticut. I did New York and New Jersey, and they have a highway safety program. Every single state has a highway safety program. All right? And then it references the Highway Safety Act of 1966. So I went and Googled that and found that. That brought me to the statutes. Now, in 1887, they wrote up an Interstate Commerce Act. All right, I want to follow this. I hope I can erase this now because it's gone. We gotta follow this, boy, because they're real slick. Oh, great! And they make an assumption, and rightly so. They make an assumption that we are not paying attention. And because they make this assumption, and it usually works out to be correct, right, they can make a demand of income, right? Now, I don't care what they're making a demand of, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a commercial or a private activity. Here's the fraud. All right, I'm going to go back, but I just want to say, here's a fraud to think about, all right? If you're traveling, you don't know your tail light is out, right? They stop you. Oh, your tail light is out. We don't give you a ticket, right? Ticket is for how much? Let's say it's about 100 notes, right? Notes, because there's no money, right? So they're looking for some federal reserve notes, right? Which automatically is unconstitutional, right? Because now you got to figure out a way to get something from a corporation so that you can make a payment for something that you know not of, right? So now these people say we need 100 notes, all right? Now who are you paying this 100 notes to? Who is the 100 notes getting paid to?
Well,
the county.
That's what they say. We don't know where it's going.
Well, no, the county is right because the county is what? A municipal corporation, right?
Don't have
so now, if this is as a result of a federal program, right, to ensure safety, and the feds allow the states to participate, all right? Participate, all right? And then the state hire a contractor, right? The feds are paying the state, right? Something, let's say some credit. The feds are giving the state a credit, right? Am I right? And then the state got to give their creditor, their contractor some credit, right? Am I right? So then, isn't this payment for services? Right? So then this will be double dipping, right?
Conflict of interest.
Explain.
Conflict, they always firing against me.
No. Actually, because see, if you go after the feds are going to say, well, no, this program, it doesn't have anything to do with the people in their private capacity. Right. They already got their out. All right? So then you're going to go to the state, well, the state doesn't, no, because there wasn't no state employee. The state contracted to the county to administer a program, and they're getting paid. They're getting paid to administer a program, and they're coming over here and charging the people additional demands. They're making additional demands of income. Where's this money going? Where is it going? No, you can't say it's going to the county. We can't say it's going to the county. We know it's going to the county, but the county is getting paid in credit from a federal program. So where is this going? Where is it going? It's a slush fund. Exactly. See, this is why when people get these tickets and they start saying, I need this X amount of dollars, you need to go and get the balance sheet from this. You need to get the accounting for this because you need to know where's that going. Just like if there was a situation where a sister got into a car accident and the police, now, and let me tell you, they say this stuff because we are so freaking asleep. If I hit you, honest mistake, I wasn't playing, what is it, bumper cars. I didn't have bumper cars in mind when I hit you. All right, it wasn't intentional. It was an honest mistake, right? The police will come up to you and say, we're going to give her a ticket so that you can get your insurance. And now because he's twisted, he's thinking, oh, I'm going to sue, I'm going to get paid, I'm going to get over like a fat cat. Yeah, right? That's what he's thinking. He's like, yeah, go get her a ticket. How much you give her a ticket? Make it more, right? So I'm going to get the ticket, right? I'm getting the ticket. He got injured. I'm getting the ticket. I'm paying the police, but he got injured. Right. Yeah. He got injured, but they're getting the ticket, and they wasn't even at the scene when the injury took place. But he's saying, yeah, give her a ticket, give her a ticket. Look, that's how it goes, right? Isn't that how it goes? And when I saw this, I said, I said, is the sister going to get some money from the ticket? And the guy looked at me like I had two heads. Is the sister going to get the money from the ticket? No, she's not. But she's going to be able to get the insurance to pay. What the fuck are you talking about? The insurance is going to pay anyway. Right. That's why she has to pay that monthly premium. She's paying for a service. What are you talking about?
Even if nobody get hurt, she pays.
Exactly. If it was just a little fender bender and nothing is wrong, but the so-called police sees it, he's going to come and give a ticket. Oh, I got to make a demand for income. But nobody was hurt. But I got to make a demand for income. But who's getting the money? Me or her? Neither one of you. Right. Is that a scam? That's a scam. Now let me show you. How can I prove this? Because I can prove it. You know I can prove it, right? Wait now. Now I just told you. I told you 1887. They came up with the Interstate Commerce Act. How did I find that? From looking up this Motor Vehicle Safety Act of 1966. Brought me to 1887. Interstate Commerce Act. Federal program. All right? So our federal program. Now, this is so interesting. Let me see if I got my quick notes. Now, they've been making these policies and changing them and changing them and changing them, but right in the act itself, it says, I got to read this to you because it's just so amazing, right under our nose, but who knew? Let me just say this. All of this stuff is written in statutes, but statutes do not apply to people. Statutes apply to corporations, and that's why we don't know, and that's why we don't need to know. But every time they try and impose driving on you when you was traveling, they always reference statutes, all right? So here's the statute. Motor Vehicle Safety Program is the name of the statute, all right? Purpose. The purpose of this chapter is to reduce traffic accidents and the deaths and injuries resulting from traffic accidents. Therefore, it is necessary, one, to prescribe motor vehicle safety standards for motor vehicles and motor vehicle equipment in interstate commerce. All right? That's the purpose for the motor vehicle safety program. Now, that's hold on, that's titled, this is under title, this came down, let's see, this is when did they start this? Oh, I can't remember the year. They changed it in 78.
They just upgraded it.
Actually, what they did, because I got my books right here, okay, the interstate commerce was changed from, or it was changed in 78 to Part 4 of the Transportation Act, or Transportation, all right? Because they like to move stuff around because they're counting on the people not following the crumbs. But it's still a commercial activity, right? So then in 82, yep, that was 78, all right? 82, they added some new stuff, 1982, new stuff that doesn't mean anything, all right? 95, they added some, 1994, they added some new stuff. 1995, they added some new stuff. 1995, they got rid of all of this, so to speak, and then rewrote everything in 1995. And then in 2010, which is what's still currently operating from.
You writing more?
They're rewriting statutes. That's all they do is rewrite statutes. They don't write law. They can't write law. They don't have the authority to write law because only Congress can write law, right? So now in 2010, right, the Interstate Commerce Act went from just a standalone, one-page act to 78. They brought it under Section 4. Interstate Commerce Act dropped down from being number one, the only act. They dropped it down to Section 4. Under Section 4, you have in 2010, you have the Motor Vehicle Safety Program, because all of this is about programs, right? And then under that, you have the driver registration and motor vehicle registration. All right? So now what does that tell you? Right? What does that tell you about this? It's a commercial activity. And it's a federal program. All right? So then the question becomes, how does the state get into it? Are you wondering? Are you wondering how does the state get into a federal program? I'll tell you why. Oh, I got it right here. Go ahead, tell me. That's right. The states, because the feds have a stationary position on Northwest Amexem, and it's pretty much in Washington, D.C., right? But this is an interstate commerce act. They need some people across the land to help to administer this program, right? So then they initiated the state participation. Really what they're saying is they're contracting it out to the states. And I got to read this to you. Notification. A state may become a participating state under this chapter by notifying the Secretary of Transportation of its intention to be bound by Section 30304 of this title. So you might be wondering, what is Section 30304? All right, they have you going all over the place. That's why you have to pay attention. You have to really study this, and you have to think, how does this apply to me in my private capacity? It doesn't. But you need verifiable documentation to prove that. If you can come up with verifiable documentation to prove that, you can show where these counties, city, township boroughs, they are operating way outside of their jurisdiction. Not only are they operating outside of their jurisdiction, they are extorting additional income from the people, and that constitutes double dipping because the feds have made a provision for them to be compensated. So why the hell are they extorting income from the people a second time? Well, the state is everything comes internationally. Then it goes to the feds. The feds will trickle it down to the state, and then the state will contract it out to various different corporations. And let me just say this. All of the stuff that is going on, if we as Moors would get it together, we could administer these programs ourselves. Because if anything, look, we're the Moors. If they want the interstate to be monitored, we're supposed to be doing that. This is our land. If we want to provide the service of educating the children, our children, we can put together a program to do that and get the same federal funding.
They're not educated.
Exactly. They're not agencies. They're not agencies of the feds or the states. They are contractors. And in 2013, I think it was, North Carolina let everybody know that. Because if it happens like that in North Carolina, it happens like that across the land. So let me read this. What does 30304 contain that the states have to be bound to? It says, individuals covered. As soon as practical, the chief driver licensing official of each participating state shall submit to the Secretary of Transportation a report containing the information specified by subsection B of this section for each individual. Now, what is contained in subsection B? This is what is in subsection B. Except as provided in paragraph 2 of this subsection, a report under subsection A of this section shall contain the individual's legal name, date of birth, sex, and at the Secretary's discretion, height, weight, eye, hair color. What does that sound like? The name of the state providing the information and the Social Security account number. That's what it says in here. The account number, because it's an insurance policy. if used by the state for driver record or motor vehicle license purposes, and the motor vehicle operator's license number is different from the Social Security account number. Now, let's go back. What would he be using this information to report? For each individual who is denied a motor vehicle operator's license by the state for cause, whose motor vehicle operator's license is revoked, suspended, or canceled by that state for cause, or who is convicted under the laws of that state of any of the following motor vehicle-related offenses or comparable offenses, operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of or impaired by alcohol or a controlled substance. Who does this apply to? Who does it apply to? Employees of a corporation who are drivers. Why? Why does it imply? Because the corporations must ensure that the people in their private capacity are safe. That's why it's called the Motor Vehicle Safety Program. Who are you making sure is safe? And from who? Then it says a traffic violation arising in connection with a fatal traffic accident, reckless driving, or racing on the highway. Failing to give aid or provide identification when involved in an accident resulting in death or personal injury. Perjury or knowingly making a false affidavit or statement to officials about activities governed by a law or regulation on the operation of a motor vehicle. All of these is relative or relating to an employee who is driving for a corporation. It's not for the people. But how many people have ever had their license that they had fraudulently, compelled to get, revoked or suspended? That means that the state sent a report to the Department of Transportation with your private and confidential information as though you were operating in a commercial capacity. That's called fraud. That's called fraud. Now, and let me just say this. The reason that the states, because see, shit always rolls downhill. If you go and write a letter to the Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Transportation is going to call the state is going to call the Department of Motor Vehicle, the Department of Motor Vehicle is going to say, your contractor sent us this information, the state is going to bounce back to the state is going to go to the county, mayor, CEO, and he's going to say, hey, your people sent me a fraudulent report, the mayor's going to trickle it down to the chief of police, chief of police is going to say, hey, which one of you knuckleheads sent a fraudulent report, and then whoever gave the ticket is going to get the hit.
Thrown under the bus. What's happening now? Everybody gets thrown under the bus.
Exactly. And what's sad about this is you got a lot of these police walking around like they are He-Man, like some, what is it, Iron Man or something, like they are invincible. And the sad thing is they don't even realize that they've just been put in a position to take the hit.
That's just like when you saw people were giving them gun permits out.
Mike up.
Yeah, the police officers were giving these gun permits out to the Jewish people, and the lower guys are taking the hit. The higher up,
and you said guns?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the guns, because see, people don't even get this. How many people know that you have a constitutionally secure right to bear arms? All right. Now, they got all of these statutes. Now, what statutes apply to? Corporations. And they say the statute says you can't have a gun. You can't have a gun. You can't have a gun unless the only way you can have a gun is if you're licensed, and you can only get the license if it's been proven that you're not mentally insane or incompetent or That's for the police.
It mentally.
That's for the police. They're the ones. Why do they need to license that gun? Because we need to know if your behind is mentally competent to have that goddamn gun, and that you will not inadvertently shoot goddamn people you are hired to protect from safety. And that's why all of this Trayvon Martin and what's his name, Mike Brown, and even the sister Sandra Bland, all of that stuff, if the people knew this, they wouldn't even be asking the county for jack. They would be taking this into the federal court because they just violated a federal program. Because that's the only reason the police is on the street. They're on the street because of a federal program, and that program is the Motor Vehicle Safety Program. And if they're not there for that, it's another program. But they can only walk on the street and engage in commerce if it is regarding a program, and that program can only administer commercial activity. So if they knocking on your door, and if they pulling you over, and if they just, accosting you on the street, that they got no jurisdiction to even look in your direction because they're only there for commercial activity. Islam?
Islam.
He has a question. You need a mic.
Islam. Most of our brothers are getting locked up not because they're carrying a gun, but they're carrying a firearm. There is a difference.
Yes, there is.
Okay, remember the case with Plexico Burris, the football player shot himself? African Americans can't carry firearms.
That's right.
We don't want to encourage people. So the proper wording is you have a right to bear arms or firearms, not guns. Okay, but you're also right. If you're African American, Negro, colored, black, or whatever the heck, you can't have none of that. So what you'll find is they'll charge you, or so-called charge you with having a gun or a weapon, they'll call it. And many people have said, I've got a weapon and never rebuked it. Then once you try to get to a federal level, they'll change it to firearm because then they just switch. They flipped it on you, and notice if they bring it to a higher venue, they better say the right thing, but they got you to agree on this level because of our ignorance of information. Thanks for sharing that. And one other thing, too, never mind, I'll ask you at the end of the night. They do change the charges in midair because if they said that we're getting you for a gun or a weapon and then they change it to a firearm, they just changed it. Right, and they'll make another charge, but you're allowed to have and bear arms. But when they say, it's a gun or a weapon and you don't correct it, then guess what? They got you. But, yes. Yes, of course. If you're allowed to bear arms, which is your Second Amendment right, does it say you're allowed to have a gun? Be specific. You're allowed to bear arms, but at the same time, you certainly don't even sound right to say that you have a weapon. So then they say that you're threatening you have a weapon if you intended to do. In other words, you're not bearing arms to protect your body and your community and yourself. You're carrying a weapon, meaning that you have intention. You gotta look up what the words are. All right, it's important. Hold on, we'll comment back here from Ms. Raheem.
Islam, I just wanted to add on real brief because the brethren brought up Plexico Burris. When you're talking about even with the right to travel, a free being has the right to do with their property whatever they want to. All right, but when you look at Plexico Burris' situation, it's so unique because he shot himself, and based off of him shooting himself, he still went to jail. So to me, it's like, well, if a free being can do what they want with their property, how would you be the criminal and the victim at the same time? I just wanted to add that on. So him being penalized said a lot more than just what happened, because I guess they consider him property, Islam.
Exactly. It's so important on the proper use of words. It's so. First there was the Word was with God, the Word is God. All right? So every man don't live by bread alone, but by everything that proceeded from his mouth. So when you call yourself something you're not, they'll take you for face value on it. When you call something it's not, they'll take you for face value because they're trying to steal everything you got anyway. It's not what? Oh, what?
According to this weapon, is sword or penis.
Sword or penis? Oh, from German penis. Woo! Lord have mercy, Old Norse. Looks like the brother here has a comment. But see, this is when it says, okay, he just said everything's a weapon. What does it say? You have the right to bear arms. All right? That's exactly right. Because your first defense of self is you. That's why you have in karate, black belt is the highest belt, right? You know how to defend yourself. You know that art, that martial art. Same thing goes when you're looking at pheasants, by the way. The black one means not only do you defend the information and the law, you're able to defend to the utmost, meaning that you actually can physically defend women, children, and family and people. You see, it's more to it than just that. And it all you find, the dots are connected if you just do some study. Brother, right there.
Yes, ma'am. Islam. Peace, brother. Thank you very much. Yes, what I wanted to say was that, in the area of jurisdiction, when you're breaking down the term jurisdiction, jurisdiction is the, it's sort of like the right. It's not an actual right, but it's sort of like the right to govern or control within a parameter, jurisdiction, the area, the general area.
No, it doesn't. That's not what jurisdiction means. We're going to move on. I'm going to tell you why. No, I'm sorry. You can frown upon me you want to, brother. But what it really means is this. Juris means right, correct? And diction means words. So jurisdiction simply said means right words. And the problem with us who've been calling ourselves Negro, colored, and black is we do not have the right words for ourselves, let alone anything else. When you go to a courtroom and they say they have jurisdiction and you don't even challenge the fact whether they even really do, what they do is because you fail to have the right words, they sentence you. That's it, and that's all. It's all about the word. First there was the word. Don't forget that. Because that's what it is all about. And what you want to add to that? Oh, you also have your hand up in the back. It is right after you.
Yes, ma'am. Where they derive their jurisdiction based upon the principles that we gave them for the U.S. Constitution is from international law, conflictual laws, which is what we're talking about now, how the laws conflict and whatnot.
There is no conflicting law.
No, I'm not saying that there is a conflict of law, ma'am. I'm saying
there is no conflicting laws.
That's what they do. This is what we're speaking about.
You mean they conflict with the law?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Let me put it to you like this. There is no U.S. Constitution. See, right words once again is how we fail. There's no such thing as the U.S. Constitution.
I know this.
No, hold on. We just said you can only have jurisdiction if you have right words. You say U.S. Constitution. You're not the only one that says that. There's a whole bunch of people, including grand sheiks and temples, that say that crap. They have no idea because they failed to study. And I'm not saying that's you. Maybe they've taught you. Maybe they taught you. What I'm saying is it's the American National Constitution for the United States of America because this is the American land. That's what I'm saying.
I researched this information personally downloaded it from the internet, developed a website based upon all of what we're saying, based upon my own research that I found written in the context in words from the internet research that I did personally and put it on a website called Not Helpful USA Legislation People.phrases.com.
And your point is?
My point is that they play with the 9th, 10th, and 11th our rights amendments, and they try to bring us under the 13th, 14th,
Turn the Constitution, please.
Which pertains more to them.
The
9th, the 10th, and the 11th.
Yeah, okay. We got that.
And they tried to fit us into the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
We got that too. We got that already too. Everybody knows that already, brother. There's a temple that calls themselves dealing with the 13th Amendment, and they still didn't read it right because it clearly says if you're descendants of Africans, you cannot be citizens of the United States of America. United States of America was what was established by us according to this Constitution, and the reason it even exists for the foreigners who were here to keep it straight. So if they're in there saying that we're citizens of the USA, that's the problem. And if they're in there not understanding the 13th Amendment, so it doesn't matter. They probably got a website too, and they probably say that too, but it don't make it right. But 9th, 10th Amendment. Sure.
This is a very important topic, and I want to get back to the wisdom on the E was dropping after you dropped that. All right. But what I want to say is that this very topic is an imperative one because Noble Drew Ali said those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables. So when you look at the fact that United States is not a nationality, you already know that the land is America, Morocco. So the free national name of the constitutional government is the American Constitution. You need to know that. I just wanted to add that on Islam.
All right. With that, now Anna E's gonna finish. Yeah. Then we're going to, before we leave here, since it's been brought up, we're going to read the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. Well, not the 11th. The 11th actually repeats the 9th.
11th, no, actually, the 11th is quite interesting because and a lot of people misinterpret 11.
Yeah.
Because 11 basically is saying that no one can sue the people. That's what 11 says. But people interpret it as corporations are immune from suit. That's so absolutely incorrect. And the only reason people can make that assumption, even though it's grossly in error, is because they didn't do the research and even you got to go to 1774 to see the climate of the situation to know that there's no way that there could ever be anything in that American Constitution that empowers a corporation when the reason the Constitution was even put down in written form was to protect all people from infringement of corporations. So that when people misinterpret 11, they just told you I didn't do the necessary research to find out why that document was put down in ink. So what I would just to go back to what we was talking about, like I said, every one of these states have something that looks like this, and that falls under their own Department of Transportation. But you got to go. I would challenge everybody to go and pull it up and read it because this is on the front page, all right, for Connecticut, and it reads, listen to this, Highway Safety Program. Police is under that program. That's where they get their authority. And this is what it reads. The goal of the Connecticut Highway Safety Program is to prevent roadway fatalities and injuries as a result of crashes related to driver behavior. Driver behavior. All right? You know what driver means, right? So they're talking about people who's employed as a driver for a corporation. Under the Highway Safety Act of 1966, the governor is required to implement a highway safety program through a designated state agency suitably equipped and organized to carry out the program. Now, the governor is only required if they put in a request to participate, all right? An appointed governor's highway safety representative oversees the program, and supporting Section 402 highway safety grant funds are made available to the state to carry out their annual highway safety plan. Did they just tell you that they're federally funded? So now if they're federally funded, what the hell is the police extorting income from the people for? That's double dipping. It's right on their website. They give you the information to sue them. Say that again? Well, absolutely. The only people that are supposed to be paying is those drivers, because the driving is a privilege. And then I went and I downloaded their driver's manual. How many people in their lifetime read the driver's manual? Because, you know, everybody when they was young, they wanted to become a driver, didn't even know what a driver meant, right? I downloaded their driver's manual, and right the very word, it says drivers. If you want to be a driver. That's why I went and I looked up, well, let me see what this word driver really means. And when I looked up driver, it's someone who's employed.
That's the traffic law book.
Huh?
People think that's the traffic law book.
No, that's not the traffic law book. But here's the other thing. Now, because you're going, because this is a commercial activity, corporations are the ones who are obligated to make sure that their drivers have these licenses, and really the corporation is supposed to have a driver's license that blankets everybody, just like they do with the insurance. All right? But they pass that obligation on to their individual operators of their equipment, right? Which that's not their obligation. But they are the ones. The reason you see all of this is, hold on. This is the 2010, and this has not been changed since 2010. This is 2010, Title 49, Transportation. It falls under interstate commerce, the driver's license and registration. I printed this, and then I spiral bound it. But this is Title 49. Now, corporations have an entire legal department that can get into this and tear it apart and figure out what they gotta know, what they gotta do, and then try to figure out what they can pass on to their employees. But the people in their private capacity can never be compelled to try and figure out all of this crap out. You don't have a legal team. We do not have a legal team, and we're not required to have one because this doesn't apply to us. And so when you're going into these places and you're applying for a driver's license, really, if they were going to be operating honorably, and for those people who are involved in commerce, the whole premise of commerce is good faith, clean hands. Right in the commercial code, this says that everything. The first section, first article, it says everything is based on clean hands. Right? So that means that if they were really and truly operating with clean hands, all right, and you came in there to apply for a driver's license, they would first ask you, are you employed as a driver? If you say no, they're supposed to tell you this does not apply to you. But they're obligated to disclose, because you can't sit there and say, well, we're making the assumption that you're coming to apply for a driver's license because you're employed. You can't make that assumption, because the reason you're getting that federal dollars is that you're supposed to be protecting who? Those people. You can't say, well, we're going to protect them over here, but we're going to take advantage of them over here. The whole premise of government, of law, is to protect the people. And if they do not do that in any capacity, then they have just violated their own contract. I don't care how you cut it. So these are things that we need to know about. We need to be able to dig up stuff. We need to be able to find how is it that these people are actually violating my constitutionally secured liberties. Can I provide verifiable documentation? Yes, I can. With a little bit of research, you can. Islam?
Oh, it's one of those final call questions. Like, look, if you don't get it after this, you just ain't going to get it. You hear what I'm saying, right? Because that's where we're at. We were talking about it all the way up here. Don't go anywhere because the brother behind him had a question, and I forgot the one here, and we forgot to get his question or comment or whatever.
Well, just a question and a comment. Comment is that you said the cops are here to protect, and that's not true. They're revenue collectors for the corporations, and that came from a cop as well. That's all they're here. Need a little bit more information on the right to bear arms. When you did the arm over there, just a little more explanation behind that.
I was saying arms, like whatever is at the end of your arm is your protection. What the hell? Yeah, bear arms. Don't mean you got to wear shorts for your shirt. But what they're acting out is common revenue collectors. But that's not what they're supposed to be doing.
That's right. Remember, this is a commercial activity. All right, so if I'm a trucker, like for example, and how many people have seen the police? I mean, I don't know, maybe it's me, but lately I see them pulling over more police than, tractor-trailer trucks and so forth. I see them pulling them over more than I have ever seen them doing before, rightly so.
The brother just left, if I can comment. I think he left. He said to me, I just want y'all to know that they're not calling us buses and tractor trailers is what you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. All right. He said they're not calling us bus drivers anymore, operators.
Well, yeah.
See, they're getting it straight. Now, the people need to get it straight. They need to get it real straight because it's not that complicated. The only reason it seemed and it became so forceful for them is because of our lack of knowledge. Remember, Yahshua, Jesus said, my people suffer for what? For a lack of knowledge. And we keep not looking for the knowledge, right? And kingdom, it's within, not without. It's within, so don't go ask somebody else. Find it out for yourself because it's inside. So now they're doing that because they get ready. But your point is they get ready. Really, they're turning their head to another direction.
They're going after, because I don't remember. I know up north, you guys don't seem to have that challenge down this way because I think on a lot of your parkways and stuff, tractor trailer trucks and stuff can't travel on those, right? The FDR parkways and stuff. Well, up north, see, they had a lot of accidents. I mean, they were tractor-trailer related because we used to have a whole bunch of tolls up there on the main road because we don't have a lot of, up north they don't have a lot of parkways and they don't have no FDRs and stuff like that up north. So the tractor-trailers was doing like 70 and 80 down the highway. They were overworked because they had a certain amount of time to get from A to B, so they weren't taking breaks, they weren't sleeping, and they were having a lot of accidents. And that's why the traffic safety program started, they upped it up north, and they took down all the tolls. because they found that many of the tolls, they were like, the reason why a lot of these tractor trailers was having accidents. They thought that if they put up X amount of tolls, it would stop them. They would oh, I'm tired, pull over. No, didn't do that. They was and now what you're going to find is like a lot, that's going to start back up again because of Easy Pass. They don't have to stop. They don't have to stop no more. It's going to start back up because of the Easy Pass. You're going to have a lot more tractor trailer accidents because of the Easy Pass, because they're not required to stop. They can just zoom right through. And I've seen it. I was on the Greyhound bus. They don't slow down. They speed up.
But that CPL, he was required to stop the set. According to their rules.
Well, yeah, they are.
But they don't do it.
They are required. You're right. They don't. They're supposed to, but they don't. And that's why they're having a lot of accidents. But like I said, because they got that Easy Pass, and a lot of them have it now, the buses have it, the tractor trailers have it, they're not going to be stopping. And now they got like 3 lanes for paying with Federal Reserve notes, and then the rest Easy Pass, and you see them just zoom, zoom, and there's going to be more accidents. Watch. Exactly. So now a lot of those people that's working in those booths, they're going to lose their jobs because that's the nature of the corporations. They're not there to make sure that you have, you're able to engage in your liberties without restraint. They are there to make sure that they can violate your liberties in some form or fashion. It's up to us, the people, to know that, look, my liberties are not up for sale, and yes, you will be giving me a place to live, food in my mouth, and clothes on my back, and you will not be denying me my liberties as long.
So, look, a couple questions that I'm going to answer, George. See that question right there? But there's another one. To the extent, brother, of what you wanted to ask that had to do with, I think, driver's license, correct? All right, but those questions that you may have, that others may also have, can you present them now? Quick, I mean, we got like 10 minutes. So a lot of them can be knocked out. I don't know if it's what the questions are, like what should you do or what should be done. I don't know.
Well, pertaining to me, before I got here, I've been fighting tickets.
Oh.
How I fight them is, number one, I don't sign. 2, of course.
That doesn't happen.
Of course, same thing when you go to the DMV. This is what you want, a driver's license. I travel. So when I go to Florida, when I go to California, let me finish. When I travel. So now when I go to the rental-car place, they're not accepting my travel ID. A few.
Enterprise is one.
They starting to accept it. Because when I went down to North...
People started standing up for what is right. Not asking them to not asking them, can I apply for legislation, but dealing with what is already read to Parliament. It is law. But the ignorance of the people is not knowing it, so they're going to teach you that in public school. They're going to teach you at the church.
That's right.
They're teaching you at the church because the reverend has already gone out. But he thinks that in order for him not, his whole house of God, right? Wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry. This is important. This is so important. You may not get to say, we got to say it one. His little house of God and everything that goes on in the church is the house of God, right? But then you come there and you want to get married. And he comes out of his normal clergy and he steps into what's called secular clergy, which means business, and he makes sure you have a license that's issued by your state corporation that ain't got jack to do with your two relationship, and it damn sure ain't got nothing to do with God. And then he does that, so he hands you over, steps right back into the clergy. You have the wedding usually at the church. He just lied to you because he thought that he was told that if he did this, the church, wouldn't have to pay taxes, so he sold your ass out for that. Excuse me. Oh, you're definitely married to the state because this is how stupid we are. We got third party in our wedding, in our marriage, and don't wonder what's wrong because there's an energy there that don't belong. And it threatens you all the time. Yeah, I'm going to divorce you and take you for everything. It threatens your relationship psychologically because we didn't even hear because we wasn't listening. We must have been working out a passion when we supposed to put a circle around our passion. When the preacher said, with the power invested in me and the state of New Jersey, New York, I now declare you whatever. You didn't hear that when you got married. He didn't lie. The marriage is not that. Nothing, hold on a moment, we just got to now something. Nothing that corporations have, there's nothing that they have that needs to be issued to you. Nothing. Now, I know we all tied in it, but we got to take our time and start cheesing it off. You travel. I got that. Because they will come and accost you. They are the Roman soldiers who love to come, and if you're in the wrong part of town or the land, and you're down south, you might find yourself struck out or something like that, or they find your body in the auditorium at the school because they took your organs out of the 17-year-old boys and stuff. I mean, they are really, really. This is in a bad condition, but in our minds, we can rise above it as long as we stop arguing about are we really Moors. And, like, for instance, I got an email. Somebody said that if you deal with RVBey publications or anyone that deals with that, the Moorish, something called the Moorish government. Who the hell is the Moorish government? If the people are the government, so how's the Moorish government gonna say, "Oh, I wouldn't deal with those RVBey or whatever other places, or any other whatever because they don't really have the government back behind them." Oh, and they're talking about Morocco and the Morocco people. They put their right. Don't even know we are the Moroccans. Stupidity stuff. But they're talking, Al-Morocco, America. That's what we are. So they're something about and they put their own people in slavery. Let's kill the noise, babe. We definitely, all of us who call ourselves Negro, colored, and black. The original slavery was that with the Slavics, which are the modern Europeans, what you call so-called white people. They are the original slaves. They're Slavics. We were enslaved. They needed their independence. The thing goes together because the British, brutish Moors, which are our cousins, they're the ones who enslaved them and brought them over here in the first place to work in companies. All right? And then they wanted their independence. The whole thing goes together real well. And yes, we started enslaving our own brethren, brothers and sisters, because slavery was a big financial thing. You daggone right. That's why we're suffering today. That's part of the reason why we're suffering today. Because some of us went along with that and started enslaving our own people. And we still do it right now as I'm speaking. Put your mic on.
You brought something very important about the organ transplant and everything. That it should. Is it because when these things happen on a state property, is it because they're part of the corporation, so they can't allowed to do that? Allowed to do that to take.
There is no state property. That's the other thing that you got to get. This only makes good logical sense. If this is your ancestral estate / national domicile, North America, ancestral estate / national domicile, South America, Central America, etc., right? And if the states which if you read what a state is, it's a group of people occupying a fixed territory, right? Rule and going under one rule, which is really the Constitution, which is the law of the land. Then there is no corporate state that owns jack. They are operating on your ancestral estate. Now, our problem is with this is to claim that this is our ancestral estate. It's just simple. So, for instance, to answer a question, how do I take acres of land that I already have, whatever, and put it in a trust? How do I create and set up a trust? If you don't know that you already are the trust, that you are already born that way, that you are already the benefactor and the trustee, and that everything on the earth and the resources of the earth is yours already in trust, that you just need to claim it and let them know you will not be taxing this right here. Because I have the title. When they do title searches, people, they're looking to see if a title of L or Bay has claimed their ancestral estate. That's what they're looking for. So the first thing is make sure they wipe off L and Bay off your names or appellations so that you won't be that L or Bay that is claiming your ancestral estate. So then that's it. It's not complicated. You don't get involved in a bunch of paperwork in Florence, especially. Let me repeat, especially any forms they give you to fill out, don't do it. Make your own written documents, which is affidavits, because their stuff has adhesions, hidden agreements. Huh? All right. Islam, what did you say? Okay, all right, got it. So we're going to close out, but hold on. So answer that. Your problem is what? What is your problem? What now? You're going to have to join the rest of us who have to go through the painstaking of deciding whether to travel, not to travel,
right.
What we got to deal with, but only in an intelligent tone. The moment you start speaking in an unintelligent tone,
Yes, ma'am.
But only in an intelligent tone should you do that. The moment you start speaking in an unintelligent tone, you got a problem. However, our problem as a people is we never learned language. We didn't get to spell correctly because they intentionally made sure you didn't learn jack in school. Your children now, by design, your children now are coming out of grade school or whatever, they don't know jack. They don't know where a comma, a colon, a semicolon, they don't know how to spell. They write in all caps, which means corporation. By law, it means corporation. So how is it possible for you to feel comfortable about speaking in an intelligent tone when you yourself don't feel intelligent? Islam, yeah. You need a mic. This is truly final call, last call.
Islam. I want to thank my brother right here for pointing something out to me yesterday. Hold up. Yesterday we was watching a clip of Judge Judy. Now, we know that's not how it usually goes, but there's wisdom you could pick up from watching anything or being an observer, a perceiver. So Judge Judy is going in. There's these two young girls, and both of their parents are there. Judge Judy tells the young girls' mothers, right, because they had a school fight or something like that. Judge Judy said it's not the schools don't teach you how to be civilized. That's strictly a job that comes from the home. You saw that too, right? And we need to take that a step further, getting civilized at home and learning at home so that, we get it all starting internally. And then we can just totally eradicate being miseducated or lied to through these institutions. So I just wanted to highlight that point, that even this so-called magi or arbitrator really, it was telling the parents that it's your job to civilize these children. Schools don't have that responsibility.
Islam. She said it too. Thanks, son, for bringing that up. She said, no, simple stuff. You're supposed to learn that from home. I loved it. And she's absolutely 100% correct, So, look, as far as the 9th, 10th, and 11th Amendment, I'm going to read it real quick, but before I do, this is interesting. Just to give you an example of how dumbed down we are, and how we've been taken advantage of. That's why Jesus said, my people, I'm going to tell you right now, you suffer for a lack of knowledge. And it's so true. It's sure true, because the Bible itself is a book of what is, what was, and what is to come, which means it's a forecaster. It tells the future, right? If it's what is, what was, and what is to come. I know people in church say, well, we don't believe in that. Well, isn't that what the book says? What is, what was, and what's to come? At least it's a daggone book of forecasting. And prophetess? What does that mean? What is a prophet? Someone who knows the coming events and warns the other people. Why y'all acting God crazy? Because you don't know nothing. You need to read the Inspector Divina so you can understand exactly what the so-called pseudo-Christian religion is that was laid upon the people, our people. If you don't know that, and you can't tell me the origins of Christianity, you're not a Christian, because if you don't know the origins, you need to look at yourself and say, what am I doing? You gonna tell me, oh, I'm a devout Christian, and I ask you, what's the origins of Christianity, and you don't know? Problem. But here's the simplicity of the Constitution. For instance, as far as taxes goes, and Annie wanted to bring it out again, simplicity. Well, Linda brought it to your attention, and we've read it, but, on the site we have the footnotes of what they meant, but by this Article 8. Here it is. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. Who has the power to collect taxes again? When you went to the store, was that the Congress? No. It's simple. And what's the footnote? That needs to be read. It's to bring up the site real quick, because for those who didn't understand, it's right on the site. But for those who didn't understand that the Congress has the power to collect taxes, they did. These are the footnotes of making the Constitution to clear it up. It clearly says when they say impose duties and stuff, they're not talking natural people. We have it on the site already. It means that it's not talking about natural people that should pay it anyway. My people suffer for lack of knowledge. And for asking permission to people who are not the authority that you ask permission for.
All these taxes that we paying, we're not even supposed to be paying. The national people not supposed to be paying.
Hell no. Taxes are not meant for us. First of all, when it says sales tax, that means it's for the person doing the selling, which is why it's for imports goods when you read the clarification. It says taxes are on imports and goods, and the natural people are not that. So therefore, the person selling the goods pays the taxes because it's a sales tax, not a buyer's tax. See, we don't think. And that's why Prophet said if I could get you to thinking, you would free yourself. But the problem is you got to get to thinking. And in order to get to thinking, you got to get to studying. And because you've been brainwashed with this system, you want to sit on your behind and don't want to do nothing in that respect and allow your children to come up out of schools without having an education of any kind or without learning anything of any kind, because education is really from within. And on the site about taxes, we got proof that it says that income tax is voluntary.
It means not mandatory.
It's voluntary. Everyone knows it's there. We got the proof. And it says on your paycheck, contribution, right? Well, do you know what contribution means? It means voluntary. That's why you don't start no business. That's why you don't start no business or take donation. No, contributions are you voluntary.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah, read the footnote real quick.
All right. The
okay,
footnote.
Just so we can, and then we're going to wrap this up. It says the Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes. All right? I mean, it says more imposts and excises to pay the debts and provide for the common defense. The Congress. What's it say on the footnote? To clear up, in case you didn't get it, what they meant. But you have to do studies in the congressional records to know this. Because they're not going to teach you, know your babies, this in class. That
persons are not the subjects of commerce, and not being imported goods, they do not fall within the meaning founded upon the Constitution of a power given to Congress to regulate commerce, and the prohibition of the states for imposing a duty on imported goods.
There it is. The states don't have any ability. The state says, screw the state. The state ain't your. The state is a corporation and is not having the authority. They only here because of the Constitution, because we allow them to sail from the treaty of peace that they try to hide and act like it don't exist. And, we let them come up on the scene because we know you're suffering. And, oh, by the way, now that you're here, here's the law of the land. Now, if everybody enforces this, nobody gets molested. So, Amendment 9, this Constitution is 7 articles and 10 Bill of Rights, but I don't have 11 on me because we only have the 10. We would do organically. 11 kind of. Yeah, I know, but does it really matter much? I don't think we have time for it. Yeah, but what difference does it make? No, there's actually 12 too, but 12 and 11 actually reiterate 9, 10, and 10. No, not 12. 12 is a repeat. There's nothing that goes into what they wanted to do when you're talking the Constitution, because anything else other than the organic Constitution is not the Constitution. It's something else. So we don't give a dag about that other stuff because it's not the Constitution. That's why we'll qualify the organic Constitution. Then we say, okay, the American Constitution of 1790, just to make sure you get it straight, there is not some other stuff. And the damn sure ain't the state Constitution. There is no authority there. Besides, Article 6 of this Constitution says any state that has a Constitution, it's got to be in harmony with this. If it's not, it has what? No standing. So, no, we don't have time. Everybody can go home and read the 11. 9, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others, that means other rights, that are retained by the people. It's so simple, it's not complicated. I mean, really, it's the people that had retained them. All right, 10, the 10. The powers that are not delegated to the United States by this Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Come on. So that means that the Constitution is the yellow road in the line, and the yellow line in the road, everybody stay in their lane. If it's not in this Constitution, they don't have power over it to dictate jack to you, which means when they say, well, so-and-so, no, it's not there. They have no right to dictate that to you. And remember that statutes are not law. And I showed y'all the other week, Article 1, Section 7, where it says how a bill is made into a law. And then only time it doesn't happen is if Congress is in adjournment. Read Article 1, Section 7. It tells you that even when the president denies it, don't matter. He got 10 days on 2/3 Congress. Only if Congress is not adjourned. Congress has been adjourned since 1861. So therefore, none of it is law. A statute's not law. This is what the people need to know. Yes.
No state or law is allowed to no legislative law is allowed to interfere with the jurisdiction of any state or any foreign state of another entity or state. That's 11. When you read it, you'll see what I'm saying. They don't have legislation. They don't have jurisdiction to come in and take over your jurisdiction, in other words, or apply their authority over what you have as your jurisdiction.
All right.
That's 11.
All right, thank you. All right, very good. Excellent. So with that, we're going to wrap this up and say good night. But listen to this very carefully. We're going to try to put out a real, all points bulletin. We're only here on the second and third week unless it's 5 weeks in the month. So next week is 5 weeks in the month. So we're here the second, the third, and the fourth. Our whole thing is going to be about family, diapers, mothers, family, including fathers, but all about this whole children's services is about because they're stealing your young daughter's babies. They are stealing them from the hospital. They're stealing them because you called and said you beat your child last night when maybe you did it. They are not government, and we don't put an end to that understanding. And the only reason that it's happening is because the young generations that we've raised are just as knowledgeable. Some people say, well, what are we going to do? We go to fix it. Well, then mama and grandmama get to dealing with your children and counseling them. All right? So we're going to, but they can't teach what they do. And that's the problem with the smugness of the sisters. They'll be all up in the church. They'll be all up over here. They'll be all running this. And they all, not knowing that none of that stuff can run without women. The church, none of it runs without women. None of it. And they don't know that they have failed in being who they are and dealing with the generation. And they talk about, I don't know what's wrong with the children. Whatever's wrong with the children is what the heck is wrong with you. Islam. Hold on.
Who are they?
Ask afterwards, okay? You go over there and talk to him. All right, he said he got it. Oh, anybody here for the first time? We got a pamphlet for you. First time today being here? Anybody? You been here before? All right. Okay, good. Thank you. Oh, yeah. We know it was yours. We left it here. All right.
Freedom, justice. Our lives, my protection, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, through Ali, Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. Islam, peace and love.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much.